Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be for Wilfred, Season 4, Episode 6, Patterns. The first time I watched this episode, I thought this episode was very weird, and it was a very important episode, but it was definitely very weird, but definitely it was probably the second best episode of the season. I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a fantastic episode, and there were a couple things, this was a very important episode because this episode brought the return of Bruce, and of course, Bruce is a very important character because he is the only other human that can see Wilfred, and we don't know why he can see Wilfred and things like that, so definitely, it's definitely going to get very interesting from here on out, and there's only 4 more episodes of Wilfred, so yeah, but let's just get to this episode. So Ryan is in his office, and his secretary, Genevieve, comes up to him to give him his candy bowl and asks what else she can do for him. And we find out Genevieve is actually a family friend of Ryan's, and that she's been working for his father for 30 years before Goldsmith. He used to call her his original partner. And, so yeah, I thought that was an interesting reveal. So Ryan then sees Jenna, who is looking for Wilfred, and I really like this next scene. I thought this was definitely very good, because you knew this had to happen eventually. She's nervous, that he will get picked up by animal control, and she finally decides to apologize to Ryan and I was very happy about this. He tells her that, she tells him that she is sorry that she was mad at him, and she's the one that kissed him, and asked him out, and basically, that she had no reason to be mad at him, and she asked him out for dinner later so they can reconnect. And, he says, that'll happen. He then sees Wilfred in his car, which he's not happy about because, he's trying to basically stay away from Wilfred because he wanted space. And Wilfred says he's just looking out his windows, and Ryan asks why he's hiding from Jenna. Wilfred says that ever since Jenna went to Wisconsin, she's a lot more clingy to Wilfred now, and Wilfred doesn't really like it. So, that's interesting. And Ryan ignores him. He then tells Wilfred he doesn't need to worry anymore because he's going out with her. But just as friends, and Wilfred then finds the camera, wants to know what's going on. Wilfred's wondering what's going on. Ryan asks him if he remembers the guy in the woods. Wilfred says yes. Ryan says he might know who his dad's partner was, and he decides to tag along, but before he can, he tells Jenna he found Wilfred, as Ryan wants to do this alone because he's tired of doing things with Wilfred. He wants to do this on his own. So Ryan then looks through the binoculars to see if he can find anything suspicious, and he finds the guy, he attacks him, only to find out it's Bruce. And I thought that was definitely very well done. When we found out it's Bruce, it's one of Bruce's disguises. And he tells Bruce he looks different. He asks how he knows Genevieve. He asks who that is, and Ryan tries to tell him, but he doesn't listen. We find out this is just another one of Bruce's games. Wilfred and Bruce always play those games, and this is another one of his games. And Ryan is not playing he tells Bruce he's not playing a stupid game this time. He's not going to do this. So Ryan continues to look for the blackmailer. He goes to his basement to find Wilfred, and he's mad at Wilfred as Ryan ruined his chances to find his blackmailer. And he tells him he still can't trust him, and I don't blame Ryan for that he still can't trust him, because here's the thing. Wilfred needs to prove his trust to him, and today is an example, and Wilfred asks what he has to do to prove his loyalty to him, and he says he's tired of his game, but, Ryan says he is tired of Wilfred and Bruce's games ruining his life. And he tells him no more games. And he finds Bruce, who was spying on them, and he tells him he can't end the games, and he tells them that they have to play the end game. But Wilfred tells him no. And you know what? I like seeing this defensive side of Wilfred. I like seeing Wilfred tell Bruce no. I like seeing this, because most of the time, Wilfred is just, fun all the time. But for once, he's actually telling Bruce no. But Bruce doesn't believe him, but Wilfred and Ryan then kick him out, and he tells him there will be an endgame. So Ryan's back at his office, and here we get a very interesting clue as to what could be going on with this blackmailer. Genevieve walks in, he tells her he saw her make the drop, and she says she did it for her father. She comes in all happy, but he tells her, I saw you make the drop, and she says she did it for his father. And he asks her how long she's been doing it, and she tells him every month for 30 years. She said she trusted his father so much, but she didn't even know about this. And he asks who her contact is, and she says she doesn't know his name, but this morning he was really pissed, and he wants the rest of his money now in one final drop. And he said, and basically Ryan says, get the rest of the money together and make the drop. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens there. So Ryan again sees Jenna, and Wilfred has ran away again, but he can't help her look as he has to keep looking, but she walks away upset, and he then decides, you know what, I'll help you, because, you know, he does really like Jenna. And then he sees Bruce again, and he asks if him and Wilfred are playing another game, and he denies it, but Ryan tells him he said no more games, but he decides to play the game in order to find Wilfred, and Bruce then tells him Wilfred is down at the beach, and Ryan goes over there and sees Wilfred dancing, and that's really weird. He goes in, but once he's there, there's no Wilfred, so where the fuck did Wilfred go? So he asks Bruce where he is, and he tells Ryan he told him he was at the beach, and Ryan tells him he knew he was playing a game, and Bruce then tells him they're playing the end game, and Wilfred won. Ryan screams for Wilfred, but then he sees Bruce dribbling, which, you know, that's a thing that dogs do. You know, because, you know, Wilfred dribbles all the time when he's a dog, and he's a dog, you know, so that's the thing that, you know, dogs do. So he then sees a tennis ball, which dogs love as well, and he says he was starting to think it wasn't Wilfred he saw at the, you know, he saw there, and he tries to play fetch with Bruce, and we find out Bruce is actually, basically, he's tries to, you know, he's starting to put all these clues together, and we find out Bruce is actually a dog, but more specifically, Krungel. So yes, Bruce is Krungel, and he tells him he's out to ruin his life, and he asks him, and basically, he's Krungel, and Wilfred denied you know, the Krungel didn't exist, but Bruce is Krungel. And basically, he asks him where Wilfred is, he tells him he drugged him, and he tells him he has to make a choice, solve a mystery or save Wilfred, but either way, he loses. He evilly laughs, and he then sees Wilfred in the car. But then it turns out Bruce's supposed dog costume was just a trick, as Wilfred told him about Krungel, and Bruce won the game. Basically, Wilfred did this so Ryan could see that there is no Krungel. He drives with Wilfred in his car, and he tells him he feels like an idiot because he keeps doing the same stupid shit over and over again. And I can understand Ryan here. I mean, he's tired of playing these immature games, and he's tired of doing the same things over and over again. He drops Wilfred off at Jenna's, and Jenna asks him if he wants to come in for a glass of wine. He says he can, and she asks him if they're still on for Friday night. And he says he forgot he had a work thing Friday night, and she thanks him for finding Wilfred. He says he's glad he's okay, and he leaves. So Wilfred and Ryan are then smoking, which we haven't seen in a while. You know, when they smoke pot, we haven't seen it in a very long time. And Ryan says he's glad he's not the trickster god, and Wilfred says he knows, and then, you know, Wilfred says he knows how to find the blackmailer. If the GPS dog collar that Jenna used on Wilfred, he slipped into a bag of money, so Ryan can track the blackmailer on his phone. And Ryan then goes out to look for the blackmailer, and he sees the same disguise that Bruce had. However, when he attacks Bruce, the guy's like, who the hell is Bruce? And he tries to take off his disguise, but it turns out it's not a disguise, and the blackmailer says, you're crazier than your mother, and then he leaves. So, that doesn't tell us anything. Yeah, that doesn't really tell me anything except that this guy is crazy and he's out to get Ryan. I don't know what this is supposed to show. I don't know what's going to happen next. It's definitely going to be very interesting in my opinion. I think that definitely something is going to end up happening. Something is going to end up happening now. Is Bruce real, or is Ryan imagining all this? Because that guy was not Bruce, or is he denying that he's Bruce? How does the blackmailer know Ryan's mother? I'm sure next episode we're going to find out, you know, we're going to see Ryan's mother again. What's going to happen with Ryan and Jenna? Do you think they could possibly get back together? I really like seeing the chemistry between Ryan and Jenna. I have a feeling that Ryan and Jenna are going to get back together. And is there actually a Krungel? Do you think that this was all a trick that Wilfred set up? Or is Bruce really Krungel and is just fucking with Ryan? Honestly, that ending was just like, what? I did not understand that ending at all. And the thing is, after finding out the whole thing was a trick, this episode was pretty much pointless. Because the thing is that he's not Krungel and there is no Krungel. Then what's going on here? But then the ending, it's like, okay, now I know that there's definitely something more going on. We don't know what it is, but there's something more going on, definitely. And I'm interested in finding out what else is going on. Definitely. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on. And also, what's going to happen with the drop? You know, Genevieve has to make that drop. Is she going to make it? We'll have to see what happens there. But that's basically for my review. Now, there are only 4 more episodes of Wilfred, and I really hope it ends on a high note. This episode was really not the best. I thought this episode was good, but it was probably just the 3rd best of the season. It was not the best episode of the season. It was not as good as last week's at all. Last week's was so much better. But this episode was just okay. But that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for another classic movie review. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.